सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैः स्तवैः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। So you see, each word means different thing at different levels. Now here it is not a sadhana. I wanted to emphasize that it is not a sadhana. It is the very sadhyam. Yasmin sarvam samadhiyade asmin the adhishtanam. It is, your whole attention is in that adhishtanam, not in the superimposed things. That is called samadhi. Samadhi is becoming egi bhavanti with the adhishtanam. Sarvam samadhiyade asmin. Everything becomes one in that. That is called samadhi. Here samadhi is not talked about as a sadhana, but as the very sadhyam. This you must remember. That's why I asked you why it is. What is that state of samadhi? Here Gurudev gives a very beautiful explanation for that. In the stanza explained the word samadhi. Last paragraph in this explanation, the word samadhi has been so abused in our days of decadent Hinduism, and our eloquent spiritual ignorance and our consequent spiritual ignorance, that the word conjures up in our minds the picture of some counterfeit yogin vainly attempting to bury himself alive. That he explained yesterday very dramatically. Such happenings have nothing to do with the samadhi that we are talking about in this verse. It is not a practice. It is not even, a sadhana. This you must remember. The sadhana here means the ultimate. The mind comes a sparsha yogam. It left everything and has become coiled up in itself. This is called samadhi. So here he says here, samadhi therefore means a state of equanimous intellect, that is a perfect man with his mind well under control and therefore his intellect perfectly steady and ever in balance. An intellect that is not dancing to the death tunes sung by the circumstances of life is the perfect state in which reality can be experienced conveniently by anyone. You understand? So it is a availability for the realization of the truth. That state of mind and intellect is called samadhi. And here, to go into samadhi, therefore, is not necessarily a yogic trick of some super mind. It's not a yogic trick or a cheap jugglery performed as a tamasha to entertain some audience. It is none of those things. Entertain some audience before sending a beggar's hat around. You must read that. It's very interesting how Gurudev had written. Yesterday he explained also. Like that. It is a poise of the intelligence in a fully grown, perfectly cultured human being who has had rounded off his personality into a balanced equipoise. Have you understood now? It is not the samadhi of the yogis, it is the samadhi of the Vedanta. What is the samadhi? Reach that higher state of pure consciousness, becoming one with pure consciousness. The mind has become one with the pure consciousness. That state is called samadhi. Okay, rounded off. Such a one comes to experience within oneself an ever-flowing joy of voiceless ecstasy, which cannot be explained. A peace that passeth all understanding. That's what you will experience. He comes to entertain an attitude of nonchalance to life because of his supreme self-confidence, born out of his steady intelligence and unemotional mental poise. And the mind is amani bhava. In a jnani, at the time of death, videha mukti will take for some jnanis. For some jnani, jivan mukti. But the videha mukti is that at the time of death, if he had not attained jivan mukti, he attains videha mukti at the time of death. And it is samadhi, means he had become one with the infinite. The mind and intellect does not take birth again for a jnani. Is it not? No, janana marana is there. What happens to the mind and intellect? Also goes back to its own source. Like in the body, all the 5 elements, the gross elements go back to their own source. Like Agni Tattvam, Vayu Tattvam, Jala Tattvam. Like that the body becomes Panchattvam Abu in the Viveka Chodamani. It will goes to 5 at the time of death. What happens to the mind of a jnani? The mind also goes to its own subtle source, tanmatras. In other words, there is no mind and intellect thereafter to come back and take another life. That is called, it is called samadhi. Okay. Graho na tatra notsanga Chindayatra na vidyade Atmasamstam tada jnanam Ajadi samatam gadam. So there is no graha, no grasping anything, no subjective existence. I am not a subject. Graha is not there means grahya, grahaga, bhavam is not there. I am not seeing any object because my attention has been turned to the pure consciousness. Hence I do not see the BMI, OET, PFT, this. I have moved away from it. So what is there to see? But Amani Bhavam is being explained. What is Amani Bhavam? Amani Bhavam is there is no mind because I don't see. There is no Grahaka Vastu, there is no Grahya. Neither the object is there nor the subject is there. Oh, na heya, na upadeya. You cannot give up Adatman. That mind you cannot give up or you cannot retain. Meaning thereby, heyo upadeyam is not there. There's nothing to give up, nothing to retain. Which is a very important way of telling this. 38. In the 38 he says, perception is not there. No, you cannot take the Atman nor leave it. You cannot take the Atman means you already have it. You cannot leave it means, when was it not with you to leave it? So neither rejection is there, nor acceptance is there. Acceptance na graham. Acceptance is not there. Nor rejection is there. Neither is there the beyond all opposites, beyond even giving and taking. Graha, and that we will explain in the Bhashya a little more. There in that self, which is the final fulfillment of actions of the mind, there is neither any perception nor any projection into ideas. Established in the self, reveling in knowledge, Atma Samstam tada jnanam ajadi samatam gada. That which is unborn, supreme, ajadi samatam gadam becomes homogeneous state because it is infinite and hence a mind capable of getting rid of all bondage which is created by the mind only. Who created the bondage? Mind only. Who gets out of it? Mind only. You understand? That which is freed from all bondage is what consciousness leaving all ubadhis becomes nirupadhika in the Atman. Atma karam it becomes of the nature of Atman. This verse is a bit difficult. I will read the Bhashya for that. That's why I brought this book. 38. Grahena tatra notsargas chintayatra na vidyate. As Brahman itself is stated as Samadhi and without modifications and is fearless in the previous verse. Brahman itself is Samadhi, the pure consciousness. Where you become Egi Bhavadi, becomes one with it, it is called Samadhi. Okay. So, and without modifications and is fearless, therefore, in that Brahman, there is nothing to be taken or nothing to be given up. In that final stage of realization, there is neither anything to be given up nor anything to be taken. Nothing to make it complete. Because it is Purnatvad. Okay? Nor nothing to give up because there are no misunderstandings of any type. It is pure truth, pure consciousness which has nothing to give up. You understand? Now I have to give up my preoccupations with the body, mind and intellect. In that state there is nothing to give up. I have withdrawn myself from all unnecessary appendages that we have been carrying, the baggages of the mind. Everything is. So in Samadhi what happens? There's nothing to give up. I have become pure. All impurities are overcome. That is a very, very pure state. What he is talking about, not the yogi Samadhi, he says somewhere else. Is going to come. It's not the yoga people Samadhi. The Vedantin Samadhi is becoming the Jiva has given up its Jivahood and its perceptions and has become one with the pure consciousness. Abhinnaha, jnana jneya, abhinnaha state is called Samadhi here. So, even that word Samadhi is so totally different when the Gaudapada is explaining it. You must know that. Because in the absence of other word, they are using the same word, but here samadhi means total identification between the mind and the consciousness. Pure consciousness. Understand it that way. Then later on you keep on thinking, I don't know in which way you will go, and maybe you go in a wrong roundabout way and again come back to the wherever the fair goes, it will come back to the temple, Suppose you take the chariot from the temple, it will go all the whole world and then come back. So also our mind goes everywhere and then comes back to itself. That itself, coming back to itself is called samadhi. Okay, so where there is modification or an object of modification, there only is the possibility of taking. There is no modification or even a possibility of parinamam. Only there that you can apprehending or giving up. Rejecting is none of these two. Possibility of taking, apprehending or giving up, rejecting, but none of these two. Acceptance and rejection is possible in Brahman. Acceptance is not possible means nothing more you can take to make it Brahman. Yam labdhva chaparam labham manyade nathikam tataha. There is nothing that you can take from the world to make it total, complete. Now what do you think? If I get that, I will be complete. If I get that job, I'll be happy. If I get that wife, I'll be complete. All foolish ideas. The one who has attained this state, what is it? I have nothing more to gain in this world. An iota of happiness cannot be added to my real happiness, which is the happiness of the Atman. That is what is nothing to gain. Okay? Understood? Oh, I am struggling to tell you. And nothing to give up. What can you give up from Brahman? That Purnatvam it is. From that you cannot remove anything. It is infinite. From the infinity, if you remove something, then it becomes, its infinitude becomes questionable. Have you understood that? Nothing to give up. Then it is not infinite. Brahman is all-inclusive. That is why it is called infinite. All-inclusive means everything is in it. So if you say only the Hindu is perfect, not the Muslim or Christian or Buddhist, then you have, what did you do? You have given up something, rejected something. So what happened? Instead of being all-inclusive, it has become, it is only part of the infinite. And part of the infinity is not possible. Have you understood? Now understood? When it is infinite, I cannot give up anything from it. Then the infinitude will be lost. Because of Purnatvat, I don't need anything to make it complete. Naparam labham manyade. No other labham, no other gain is so heyopati. That word is a very difficult word to explain. That is why, now have you understood that the infinitude of Brahman will be, if you reject something from it, its infinitude will be lost. If you accept something to make it complete, then its Purnatvam will be lost. This much only is necessary. Graho na tatra notsarga, neither rejection or dropping, no grasping, no extrovertedness. You understand? Becomes totally introvert. And no tsarga, nor can it be thought of. Chinta. Now utsargaha, no rejection, no chinta, which is the final fulfillment of actions of the mind. Hence, no chinta. Mind is not functioning. No chinta means what? Amani bhavam of the mind. Have you at least experienced 1 minute, 1 second, that amani bhavam? No. When you experience it only, you know that there is nothing to think of. You have gone into a different state altogether, where all your contacts with the world outside is gone. Which Gaudapada calls Asparsha Yoga. Ajadi only we have not completed, but now he will introduce new word called Asparsha Yoga. Atma samstam tada, and such a mind which has no chinta, which is complete in itself, which has no need for rejecting anything or accepting anything, and it has gone beyond all thoughts. Amani bhavam has taken place. Such a mind, what is that mind? It itself is Atma samstam. It has become established in the Atman, reveling in that knowledge, Jnanam, which is supreme. Atma samstam manakritva na kinchida vichintaya. Where? 6th chapter. After having with great difficulty withdrawn the mind from all this kachada, and you have reached there in meditation, you are rising in meditation to own your own samrajyam. This is your empire. Okay? And you have left behind all that. And what did you do? Meditation process is that I have become established in Atman. For that meditation time, at least you are established in the Atman. Atma samstam manakrutva. Then again don't start off in there. Did I lock the door or not? To hell with the door and whatever is inside. What business have a person who is struggling for samadhi think about what is there in the room? Some silly notes will be there. Somebody may take. Them take. Have you understood this? What is for breakfast? One silly thought will come when you are struggling to reach there. Pasi thodangi aaj. Feeling hungry? What is for breakfast? And we say, the Paramatma, I have to own Paramatma now. I am going slowly flying into the beyond. Then what happens? Paramatma, I am thinking. And suddenly one Paripu Vada comes to her. Why Paripu Vada? Because para. Association of ideas. Association. Very dangerous. So, Gopi was meditating, and she with great difficulty visualized the Lord's beautiful form and the cow, plump little cow with the Lord. No? You have seen Krishna's pictures. And then all the creatures around, the peacock is dancing and something. And the flute is. And suddenly she thought of something. Of what? Something at home. I don't know whether that stupid husband of mine has gone for work or not. Something she thought. Immediately what happened? The flute has flown away. The cow has run away. In that picture of the mind. That concentration just slips. That is why you have to become very aware in meditation. Atma samstam manakritva na kinchid abhichintayet. Nothing else you should think. So here says that Atma samstam, getting that itself is difficult. thoughtless state. This is amani bhavam. When there is amani bhavam only you can do it. It is a thoughtless state. Tada jnanam ajadi samadam gada. And leaving all ubadhis becomes, consciousness has now become nirupadhiga brahma. All the ubadhis are left behind. What are the ubadhis? All this, whatever is here, is a ubadhi. Giving up all sopadhiga state. From the sopadhiga state, it rises up to the nirupadhiga state in deep meditation. And jnanam ajadi. And it is unborn samatam gada. Samadam, homogeneous state. Because it attains that homogeneous state which is the state of infinity. It comes to, now I need not know I am Atman. I need not know Atma because I have realized I am Atman. All struggle ends there. Struggle is only till there, to the door of truth. After that, is there any struggle? I realize I am that. What I have been searching for with so much difficulty, all the time I was that. I realized that. That is called realization. Your own swaswarupa anusandhanam is called realization. I need not know anything else after that. In the spiritual center, there is none of the jumpings of the mind or the cribbings of the intellect. Nothing is there. It has become absolutely quiet. That state is described and ubadhi sparsha rahidaha. There is no ubadhi there. Total amani bhava is there, and you are in that, you are one with that, and the individual attains the state of immutability, and the finite ego also is merged in that reality, and you become the infinite reality, the eternal reality, the truth. So, in the second Kariga, I don't know whether you remember, but in the second Kariga, it is said, Ato vakshyam yagarpanyam ajadi samadam gada. Remember, second Kariga, he says, promises, a praditya is given that I will tell you about that. That agarpanyam ajadi samadam gada, which has attained samatha. I will talk about it later, he said. And here he is fulfilling his praditya, promise, by talking about it. That this state is akarpanyam. It is not Shudra Brahma, but the real Brahma. Is it not? Not the lower Brahma, not the Gauna Brahma, but Atman, the self, and Akarpanyam Ajadi, which is unborn, which is the pure consciousness. I have attained that. And when I attain that Samatam Gada, I homogeneously everywhere. Not only that I realized my oneness with Brahman, but I also realized my oneness with the entire universe. So all that has been bothering me as a sadhaka, Jiva Jagat, Ishvara, everything has merged into that one pure consciousness. That is called Samadam Gada. And hence Krishna says in the Gita, Samoham Sarva Bhudeshu. Not only human beings, in all beings. Samahaham. That samatvam you attain. In other words, along with realization, you come to the, what is that state? You see the oneness in all beings. There is a peculiar word for that. I forgot. when you are realized, Sarvatma Bhavam. Thank you. Sarvatma Bhavam. You are realized this Atman is the Atman in everybody. That is called Samatha. Have you understood? So when a man has realized, he also has realized that he and everybody else has that Atman Chaitanyam in them. If you are not attained Sarvatma Bhava, then your realization is partial. Your realization is only intellectual. This always you must understand. The man who has, that is what Kabir says, I have not seen Rama everywhere, then what is my realization? Crores and crores of Ram Naam I had done, but I have not seen Rama everywhere. Sarvatma Bhavam has not taken place. If Sarvatma Bhavam has not taken place, that is the realization is not Samatam Gada, homogeneously present in everything in the world that you see. That is very difficult, Amma. Yes. Because I am Brahman, I always knew I am special. Is it not? I always knew I am somebody special. That you have confirmed enough. Thank you. But that neighbor of mine, the crooked rascal, he is me only? No. That I am not going to accept. Is it not? Then you have not understood that Ajadi Samadangada Atma. Don't worry. If you understand the pure consciousness and become one with it, automatically it will take place. Automatically you will know, I alone am in that tree, in that Akasha, in Andarala, everywhere I alone am. It's a great state. Okay, continuing. Asparsha yogo vai nama Durdarsha sarva yogi bihi Yogino bibbedi hyatma. No, I am sorry. Yogino bibbedi hyasmad Abhaye bhaya darshinaha. So he says here, those yogis. He's making fun of the yoga marga now. They will say, do dharana, dhyanam, what? Samadhi. All that they will say. If you go to yoga institutes, they will teach you. But then something is missing. In that all something is missing. What is missing? They perfect the technique, but they do not have the knowledge. The technique is perfected, but knowledge is not there. Their mind intellect is beautifully controlled by various yogic practices. But without this knowledge of Vedanta, that is not complete knowledge. Everybody, all of us have done yoga, we know that. Is that clear? So here our teacher says, there can be no connection between the Vedantin and the yogis. The yogis say how to control, and if you go for Vipassana meditation, for example, that is a yogic practice. They will ask you, half an hour you just sit. By merely sitting, do you become Asparsha yoga will you get? Even if you sit for 10 days, which they do, their practice is 10 days silence. Whether it is silence, we don't know. Inside the mind will be jumping up and down. Have you ever noticed one thing? I used to go when I was in Madras and I was teaching in the Sinmaya Vidyalaya, I used to go in that bus, and lot of dumb children. who are going to that dumb and deaf school. They will be in the bus. And I will be watching them, and they talk much more than we do. No words are there, but something. Their mind is, the mind is talking. We also observe Mauna. Today Mauna. But that day you will be talking more, believe it or not. Why? Mind. Then when it becomes, uncontrollable, you bring one. You keep a small book in which you write and give. What is the point? What Mauna is that? Mauna means the Mauna of the mind, not of the tongue. While I am talking, also I can be silent in my mind. Then only you have achieved this Amani Bhavam. You don't have to take special Mauna and all. My mind is always resting. Only when, as though you are coming out of your samadhi and talking to somebody, you talk to others. If you practice that type of Mauna, that is valid. But otherwise it is not valid. Merely you are wasting your time and energy and thinking about various things I should have talked. Tomorrow I will talk, certainly. Today I decide what I have to talk, tomorrow and to whom. No, it is a natural gliding into silence. You understand? What is the sadhana? Is to glide into silence. Just as you glide into sleep. If you go on thinking about sleep, I am not getting sleep, you will not get. Okay? Every little sadhana is difficult. Don't think it is easy. No, I read all the books. That's all. It will end only with the book reading. Not a step towards yourself you have taken. How many years we are all hearing Vedanta? And am I moving in the right direction towards the truth? If you have started moving, someday you will reach. Okay. So, Asparsha Yoga, this is called Asparsham, from total attachment. We will only, Gurudev's word you use, attachment to the world is given up and, detachment develops in sadhana, and the mind can never keep quiet. If you have detached it from the world of OET, then what? You have to give it some work. Because mind is like a genie which wants all the time working. No, you must give it to work. So what work you give? You attach it to that. In this connection, Gurudev will tell the story of the genie who, one man was given by a saint, a genie. Genie means one celestial creature, small creature. And he said, you tell him anything you want, he will get it for you. He will do all your work. He will be a very good servant. So the man was very happy. This is a great gift, Maharaj. Thank you very much. And he took him home. And he went there. And the genie said, what can I do for you? He said, I want a big palace built for myself. Then in 1 minute, 2 minutes, the genie came back. Palace is ready. Because it has got the powers. You understand? Palace is ready. Oh, now what I do? So I want that, I want this, I want so many cars, I want so many army of servants. Like that it went on, asking for all types of things. Everything immediately supplied. Instant. Finally there is nothing, but there is one condition in giving this genie. If you don't give it work, it will eat you. You understand? The condition also is put. If you must continuously give it work. Mind is like that. Mind is a genie. You must continuously give it work. So finally this man didn't know what work to give now. Everything is over. The house is full, beautiful wife, nice children, servants, cars, everything is there. So he said, then again genie said, now you give me work. And he thought of one thing. You do one thing, bring one big pole and put it in my angan. You know? What do you say? Khananam. You, what will you say in English? I don't know. Put it in the ground and make it strong and steady. And he did. That also, in 1 minute it was over. Then he said, you go up and down that pole. What is the work I has to do? Go up and down the pole. Whenever I want, I will call you. That is the work we are giving the mind. Mind is like a genie. So we have given it one work. What? Continuously think of something or other. So now we have withdrawn the mind from? From all. Amani bhavam has taken. So now where to go? What work now? The mind will ask. So he said, attached to that. Detached from the world, attached to the pure consciousness is called sadhana. Okay, so Durdarsham, Asparsha Yoga. This Asparsha Yoga, this no touch yoga, what Gurudev says, no touch yoga, is very difficult for the yogis. Unfortunately, Buddhist texts also have this word Asparsha Yoga. So, very many scholars, the Vedantic scholars said, don't trust this Gaudapada, he is Prachanna Buddha. He is only come in disguise. He is a Buddha, otherwise. Which is a wrong judgment of Gaudapada. Gaudapada did study Buddhism to defeat them. And he is Vedanti of Vedanti, as we can see from all his arguments. But some Dvaidins particularly, they say he is not a Dvaidin or anything, he is a Buddhist. Why? Because this word comes in one of the Buddhist literature. Which word? Asparsha Yoga. We use so many English words in our vernaculars also now. It is useful there we use. That doesn't mean we are Englishmen. Is it not? For example, the word bungalow is not there in our, but we use it. Like that, language has many ways of helping. We should not, because of that, we cannot say that Gaudapada was a Buddhist. No touch yoga. Asparsha yoga means there is no sparsha rahidaha. There the mind has taken to retreat from the whole BMI, PFTOET complex. Sankhadam. This is called Sankhadam. From this complex it has withdrawn. Is it not? And when it is withdrawn, you have to give it a place to go to. And we have attached it to the higher, to the pure consciousness. This detached attachment is called Asparsha Yoga. Sparsha Rahidaha. They are also now not easily apprehended by most sadhakas. Because sadhakas, first of all, cannot detach themselves from here. Sadhakas are a funny lot, you know. They want that and this. Is it not true? What is the sadhaka's aim? They have asked also shamelessly, Amma, is there any method by which I can be the grihastha and all enjoyments this I don't. But I want that also. Forget it. That's all I can say. It will never happen. It will never happen. For a time, until you become serious about the higher, you will live on both levels. For a time. But if you want the truth, you have to drop. If you want only little peace of mind, yes, go to the, Vipassana meditation. Perfect mind. But that mind which has not got this knowledge, for us mind itself is jnanam. Mind itself is consciousness. For them, mind is only a evolute from the consciousness, and hence you go on beautifying the mind. By giving it more powers. By practicing. Such practices, if you are used in realization, you would have realized by this time. Everybody. You get a sharp mind. You come to my classes. If you say, I will have more students. I'm not joking. I will teach you how to quieten your mind. They will all come. Or I tell you how to make your intellect very sharp. You are only interested in the upadhis. The one who had realized the truth about that, he is not interested. What is you? Whether you have got a very sharp mind, whether you have got a very intelligent, you are an intelligent person, it doesn't mean you know the truth. It doesn't mean you have reached that highest. This you must always remember. The purpose of this journey is not to sharpen the upadhis, but it to arrive at the, dropping all the upadhis, to arrive at the nirubadhiga Brahman. It is called Asparsha Yoga. In fact, Samyak Darshanam, the proper drishti. Samyak Darshanam means the correct darshanam is Asparsha Yoga. If you have got the right understanding and the right vision, it is called Asparsha Yoga. Then you do not care about anything. It is just there because your prarabdha has brought it here, and the prarabdha is exhausted till that time. It will be there. But I am not, whether it is a very beautiful, powerful mind, or whether it is a very sharp intellect, it is of no use there. A sukshma, a subtle intellect is required there. Not a thivra buddhi, but a sukshma buddhi. Not a powerful mind, but what type of mind? Why you go to something else? We have just Amani Bhavam, which has attained Amani Bhavam. You understand? A mind which has come to Amani Bhavam. That mind. And what type of intellect? Sukshma. Only then there is entry there. He says here, give up, not easily apprehended by most sadhakas. And even if they have apprehended it, they don't want to do it. Why? Because they are afraid from the known to the unknown. And the Buddhist philosophers only say, go only up to samadhi state. And that samadhi is only a perfected mind and intellect. You can sit for 10 hours in meditation. Why? Because you practiced the mind to do it. After that, what happens? We ask. Nothing happens. Because no knowledge there. I went for, one man is there in our yoga institute. He always comes for and I thought he will teach some technique of meditation. He said, all of you sit straight and sit there without any movement for half an hour. Half an hour to sit with doing nothing is something very impossible. And after that, like this, in our born again, those groups of people, when they teach, they will come and somebody will come and tell what happened to them. So he called for, after the program, Mr. Puranik knows all. He called for, what is your experience? And there are one or two fellows immediately jumped up and came and said, I felt such extreme this thing, and they cry also. All appeared to be so silly to me. Because I cannot say I am not practicing meditation, so at least something I should have felt there. Nothing I felt. Because sitting without knowledge, nothing will work. The technique by itself is of no use. And they have emphasized the technique of perfecting the mind-intellect equipment, and we deny the mind-intellect equipment. It is only an equipment. It is not the truth. Is it clear? I am nobody to condemn a great rishi like Patanjali or anything. But Patanjali also must have taught some students of that level. That's all I can say. Not further. Like Jesus has taught the fishermen, and naturally he stopped with only one thing. Be good, do good, and never went further than that, because they won't understand. The fishermen of Galilee or whatever. The student also is important, Oh, here a teacher says, with knowledge alone, all your efforts will bear fruit. In fact, that Samyak Darshanam is Asparsha Yogam. And here he says, Yogino Bibhyadi, they are afraid. Why they are afraid? Because they don't have the knowledge. Hence they are afraid to take that last leap into reality. They have got a powerful instrument. But if you don't put it on the path, how can you reach there? You have to also use it. So, they do not reach Bibhyadi, not in contact with the different stages. Atma, Bibhyadi, he, in the last lap, they are afraid. And Abhaye, Bhayadarshinaha, not only the philosophers of the Buddhist tradition, but even among ourselves, there are Dvaidins who do not want to take that last leap. They say, we don't want to become sugar. Have you heard that? The Dvaidins will say, who wants to become sugar? We want to eat sugar. Dvaidam will continue. We want to enjoy the beautiful form of the Lord and sing to it and feed it. Yesterday, prasadam, the mouth of the Lord. Where is the mouth for the Lord, for the infinite? Niravayavatvad. It's nice when your child plays, house. What are you playing? House. It's nice to watch them. And there are all spiritual children who are thinking that God is there, and then he needs food like all of us. And nice vibhavams are prepared for Krishnashtami, some 22 varieties of food, and keep it there. And you grow up, says the text. Not I am also a child only. Have you understood this? But
yes.
That is most important. Why do they get afraid? Because what is known and that is unknown to them. Why it is unknown to them? Because they don't have the knowledge. In that text, this knowledge is not there. So they become afraid. And the Dvaidins also become afraid. Because they don't believe there is something called Atman. In fact, there are people, who do not read the 11th, what is it? Skandam? 11th Skandam. When they do Parayanam, they don't read the 11th Skandam. Why? 11th Skanda is Advaita. Can you imagine the littleness of the mind about the Lord? In the highest reach of the Lord is the 11th Skanda. They don't want to read it. We are satisfied with the toys. Grow up is the message of the Vedanta. Okay. Atma samstam tada jnanam ajadim samadam. I'm sorry. Asparsha yogo nama. In fact, why there is asparsha? Already there is asparsham. There cannot be any contact between the real and the unreal. How can there be contact between that and this world which is apprehended by us as idantaya? This. This is an object which comes in and goes. Adavanta. There is begin. That way, one verse came. Even in Adyantavanta Kaunteya, Buddha Naramande. The Buddhas, the wise people never revels in that which has got a beginning and a end. So what is beginning and end? All the objects in the world have a beginning and a end. Not only objects, people also. Not only people, relationships also. You are seeing it all but not learning any lesson. Even a long relationship can end. Because we were friends for 20 years. Then what happened? Something. In 20 years, he had helped you so many times. You have helped him. Such a, what do you call? Close friends. But now he said something or he didn't do something. I don't know. Something. And from now onwards, he is my mortal enemy. How can that be? Doesn't it happen? But all, even relationships are not permanent in this world of unreal appearance. I feel like breaking that bell now. In the middle of some important thing they will bring. Never mind. Bhayadarshinaha. Therefore, in the last lap they are afraid. I told you, even a person like Rabindranath Tagore says in Gitanjali, I know that it is very peaceful in that state, that it is all joy, all peace, all love there. But I am afraid to leave this known tinsel town of my life, tinsel world of my life. What is that tinsel world? Tinsel world means unreal world of the world of peace. This is known. I am accustomed to it. Is it not? When we go to new place also, you feel so bad. I don't know anybody. And until you make new friends, you are a miserable creature. So you don't want to. Like the little baby says, I don't want to go to UKG. Because I love my LKG teacher. And the teacher and the parents have to do a lot of brainwashing to put her in UKG. And for many days she will be crying. So also we are telling, hey man, wake up. Rise, awake. Uttishta jagrada. Upanishad says that this is a tinsel town. Go to the real Samrajyam which you own. No, they won't go. afraid. In fact, many people are afraid of losing their individuality. That is why they never come for any sadhana, nothing. You never go Asparsha Yoga, and this Asparsha Yoga is another word coined by Gaudapada. Maybe he borrowed from the Buddhists, I don't know. But whatever it is, it explains very beautifully our relationship with the world of OET and BMI. And move away from that. How can I get out of this cage? Make a hole and walk towards that. And reaching there, you look down, there is nothing there. Everything, even the world I knew has disappeared. That is the state of realization. The law, Asparsha Yoga Nama, total surrender. Now he says it is a yoga of Asparsha Yoga is a yoga of relationlessness. There is no relationship between the real and the unreal. So, and there is no relationship, and how can we reach that? They are also afraid. In fact, how can I reach is the question. Total surrender only can help to become fearless. You should become fearless. And how can I become fearless before I reach there? You are fearful. And how can I get over that way? I have confidence. In whom? In the many people who have walked that path and given us the indications that you can also. Is it not? And it is not something to be afraid of. Everything is said by our rishis for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. I have surrendered to that wisdom of the rishis. Okay. Relation. They go to the help to become fearless. But the sadhaka is afraid to surrender, retaining part of the ego. So he says, I'll keep little ego for here. The other ego I will surrender. No. You have to surrender. Like Shankaracharya says, you kill one chicken, part of it you keep for laying eggs and the other part of it you cook. Is that possible? It's not possible. You understand? Similarly, you can't keep part of the ego. And surrender. Okay, I will take that. Those who take risks only succeed in this world. Whether in the financial field or in any field of life, unless you take risks and have faith in what you are going to do, that self-confidence we say. Have self-confidence only, we will progress in life. So also in the spiritual life also you will progress only if you have confidence that the rishis will not lie to us and it is the truth. You have to accept the hypothesis that it will happen. It has happened to many rishis. It will happen. And I will do all I can to make it happen. To such a determined person, it will. That's all I can tell you. Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om.